Today we have another young, articulate Indian with us as part of the Voice of the Young series. Hello, everyone. Good to be with you once again. We have Avipsa Ray. Sorry if I mispronounce her name. Avipsa Ray.
Yeah,
She's an economist. Let's hear from her. Sorry,
yeah.
before I do that, let me say she is in a hostel room and the situation is such that there's a lot of blur. So it's not her fault. It's not my fault. And
Yeah,
that's how
it's
it
just the
is.
shortcoming of Indian education system.
Okay, fine. Let's talk. Let's listen to
Yeah,
Avipsa.
so
Let's listen to her.
good evening, everyone. I'm Avipsa Ray, and I'm currently doing MA Econ from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. And prior to this, I completed my bachelor's in economics from Lady Brabourne College and the University of Calcutta. And at the moment, I am aspiring to get a PhD degree from any top university outside of India. So that's about me. And let's see what sir has to say.
Yeah, let's see why you shifted out of Kolkata. It's a prestigious university on its own. Why go to JNU and why go abroad? I mean, just natural questions. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, all my life I've been in Calcutta, and the point is I've been, raised in a very loving joint family, and I'm an only child. So like most Bengalis, I am also an only child. So there were aspirations ki she'll either do medical or she'll do engineering. So it's a normal Bengali thing when you grow up in a Bengali household and you have relatives. So it's always like, either she is going to do engineering or medical. And it was the same situation in my school also. Like, if you're not doing engineering, like proper physics or maths, or even medical, you're not considered as like a very bright, sharp student. It's something very deep rooted in the system. So the decision to take economics actually came as a big surprise for my parents also, because I'm the first person in my family to do this, like enter this field. Prior to this, mostly people in my family has done pure science or medical engineering. So I'm like the first one to do so. And even in my school and all, till in my class, like class ninth only, I've decided that I would take econ as a subject. Like I really wanted to pursue it. And just to be clear, I was not a very bright student, like bright in the terms like, when your maths teacher tells you in your +2, like that, Avipsha, do yourself a favor, don't take eco, don't take maths, because it's going to be too much for you. It gave me enough motivation to be like, no, now I'm going to do this. So I think I turned that thing into a challenge. So she told me ki, do yourself a favor, take up humanities, don't take maths, because I was very bad at geometry. Oh my god, like there's this meme, geo me try, geo me cry. For me, that was the case. So I was like, very like, I was not confident enough. I think the underconfidence really hit me. I was in class 10th and I did not perform like I thought I would. And that really, was a wake up call for me. You have to pull up your socks. And because if with this much of effort you can do this much, I think if I put in a marginal, marginal, that
Yeah,
concept
I'm
of
an
marginal.
economist.
Yeah,
I
so
understand marginal.
so one extra effort and the returns would be really high.
Good.
So then I was like, that teacher who said that Avipsha, you cannot do maths. I'm like, Avipsha will now take up econ and do maths. So then I shifted my school. I shifted my school, and I was a state board school student. Then I shifted to CBSE, and then I studied physics, chemistry,
Wait.
maths, and
What is
economics.
CBSC? I mean, I don't know. What is CBSC?
Central Board of Secondary Education. So
Okay.
it's under like the central board. So I was in state board previously, the board governed by the West Bengal state government.
Okay.
And then I shifted to the central board. So it's more of a centralized curriculum. And the marking schemes are more lenient, apparently. But yeah, so I shifted schools. And I think the environment there really helped me. I think my maths teacher, Aisha ma'am there, she was young. She was brilliant. And she was very nice in a way that she made me fell in love with the subject. And I was blessed with a certain, this crowd of teachers who were really looking out for me instead of telling me you can't do this, you can't do that.
Mhm.
So there was this time when I wanted to go abroad. So I
Mhm.
sat for like SAT. I started filling out my applications and all, but for some family reasons, I could not. Like
Okay.
I had to halt the plan, and then I took up admission under University of Calcutta, Lady Brabourne College, and then I started really studying the subject econ, and I really liked it.
Okay.
So one funny thing happened was that, so there's this famous college in Calcutta, St. Xavier's College.
Yes.
So they organize this annual economics fest every year. So I went there, and there was this very sharp professor from JNU, Professor Rohit Azad. He
Okay.
came and he was the speaker there. So he made very valid points, and it was back in 2018. I just started my bachelor's, and he said, for other universities, you go this and that, and you come to JNU, we pay you, you are in like a state-funded university, and the environment is great. And I told my friends ki one day, for sure, I think I'll make it.
Okay.
And one of my friend was like, I can see you there. She's one of my very good friends. So she told me, like, if there's someone I see at JNU, it's you, Avipsa. So I
Okay.
was like, ki theek hai, like kya hi hai utna ki bhi to CU mein hai. So also this factor came in ki I was another low that I hit was that I could not make it to the top tier colleges in Delhi University.
Mhm.
That was something I was targeting, but I didn't get like the top colleges like Hindu, Ramjas, Stephens, and then I was like, if it's not them, I will just stay back in Calcutta. There's no point.
Mhm.
Like, it's not a bad university. And my dad was like, you are only 18. Take the decisions, like, don't make hasty decisions. If you feel like staying here or maybe taking a drop here, it's all on you. So I had that kind of family support. So then I start, I put my heart, soul, everything into that. I have to crack JNU and everything. Then suddenly, midway of my bachelor's, pandemic hit. And there was
Right.
this big uncertainty, like what is going to happen. The exams were all cancelled. The admission process were like completely, we had no idea. Some exams were like, we will not take entrances, some based on marks, some were like, no interview. The process that was being followed, everything was new. We had to unlearn and relearn in that process. Suddenly everything shut down. The professors who were teaching extremely well in classes, they struggled with the process of teaching online, because a lot of senior professors are not very technologically, they're not very well suited. They're like, we can't see your face, we don't know whether the pace is fine or not, you guys are not raising doubts. So those things factored in. And then there was like this university, and then there was this thing, I just wanted to leave home. Like 21 years of my life, I've lived in that comfort. My dad also said he has lived in hostels. So he's like, once in your student life, should experience a hostel life. Like, it changes you a lot. You grow up faster than you can like imagine.
Okay.
So I was like, I have a good house, I have everything, why should I even leave? Like, that was the thing. Like, it's a good house, you have washroom, you have AC, why to leave? But then there was this zeal. Like, JNU is a top institute in India.
Right.
The faculty is extremely good. You meet a lot of people from very, very different background. Some who are not as well off as you are. They have struggled way more than you to reach this position, who are, struggling every day. Like, some people, every day you hear someone and the story inspires you. In JNU, that's one thing I've seen. Like, the cohort is so diverse, You every other day you have a classmate, who has come from Bihar. They are the first generation learners, and they have come a long way. They're like, none in my family have done this, I'm the first one to do. So it instills something in you, I should do something that should make a difference at the end of the day. Which I think was certainly lacking in Calcutta, because in Calcutta, there's some sort of an elitism that exists. Like the Babu culture you talk about, it's not a myth, it exists. Like, this, this top, posh South Calcutta kids going abroad. Like the northern Calcutta kids going like, yeah, this uni is good, let's stay here. So somehow, there's this problem of fitting in also. Like, where do I put myself? I can't fit in with this group, I can't fit in with that group. And I was tired. Like, there's also this like not everything is bad. Like, you know, I have my house, I've grown up there. It's an excellent university. It has Harvard, like, you know, Harvard people, like top people, every, like, it's 200-250-year-old university.
Right.
So I can't just brush it under the carpet and say it's a bad university. Like, it's not. But the environment that it harbors, it's something I wanted to get away from.
Okay.
Like the extensive tuition culture,
Yeah.
like, you know, people not paying attention in class, doing like getting supplies, no concept of relative grading. And as someone who wants to go out and explore and get a PhD, I think the first signal of your ability is your grades.
Yes.
No matter how sharp I am, if my mark sheet is not reflecting my application, it's very difficult to make it. Like, until and unless I have an extremely strong statement of purpose that will make them reconsider, like, no, this candidate is someone we can place bets on.
Right.
I think the first signal of your ability, academic ability, because when you're doing a PhD, it's primarily you're venturing into academics, and it gets narrower and narrower and narrower because you are getting more and more specialized in doing something. So you want to grasp onto everything. So in order to differentiate from every other applicant, I think your grades are a signal of your ability.
Okay.
So if I'm staying there, you're not doing relative grading, but yet I'm someone like, she's a topper. But then I'm not competing with other toppers. My CGPA is not that much. So that was also something I wanted to get out, because JNU has had a lot of people who have gone abroad. Like, a lot of my seniors, they have gone to, like, you know, top places like Purdue, Chicago, Cambridge, Warwick, and all.
Okay.
So there has been this consistent trend. And the professors also more aware of what goes on, because most of them in our department, I'm at School of International Studies, Center for International Trade and Development. So there are two centers primarily in JNU. So in both of them, they have equally very well-versed faculties, obviously. And they know exactly, because they have their own supervisors who are sitting at top institutions. So they can, you know, recommend me better. So this helps, this networking. So I feel like in today's time, not just having like academic abilities, but the ability to network and get to your goal is very important. Like, it's not just your academics, it's like the soft skills, like having, like, you know, knowing like the different programming languages like R, Stata, doing all those analysis, whether you're quick with your learning ability, how quick you can network, how, you know, how presentable you are. All these little things is actually distinguishing you from your other counterparts.
Okay.
And with chat GPT and all coming in, so it is like that. So that was a primary reason for me leaving Calcutta, because I don't think there's anything bad about my university. I'm very proud that I came from Calcutta University, but it's just that my opportunities were very narrow there.
Yeah.
So in order to like broaden my sphere, I was like, okay, let's take a risk. And I'm glad I ended up here and I saw a lot of things. It opened my eyes. I'm living in a hostel. I am adjusting. I never thought I would have adjusted, you know, sharing space with someone. I'm doing it. I'm very happy. I'm living a very happy life. So as long as I am happy, I'm fine with it. I don't think there's any regrets I have.
So you've just about finished your MA, right?
Yeah, I like, my final exams are starting next week.
Okay.
I'm in a bit of a pressure, but
yeah. So you still agreed to waste your time talking to me?
Not a waste of time. I think I'm feeling very glad that I'm getting to, like, you know, speak it out, because there are certain things I also feel if people at all watch my videos, they'll benefit from it. So I'm also doing it for the people. I hope, like, you know, my video reaches to the crowd that it should reach, and they also know what are the costs and benefits, why you should choose, like, you know, what you should look into while picking, whether it's like the similar process is going for them also, especially my juniors in University of Calcutta who feel that, you know, they are stuck somewhere.
Okay, fine.
So that's
all right.
it,
So, but you are an intern now, is it?
Yes, I'm interning at Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation.
But you wrote something about Jodhpur also?
Yeah, I am working at IIT Jodhpur, but like primarily it's more of the data kind of work. So I'm updating data files, but the more interesting work that I'm doing is at Ministry of Statistics.
And what's
so
that? What are you doing for them?
So I am currently allotted to the Ministry of School Education, Department of School Education and Literacy. And I'm working with my boss, who's the Deputy Director General, TDG sir. So we are currently working on something called UDICE Plus. So UDICE Plus is something that is like the unified district system that gives you like, you know, an overview of the kind of schooling, like basically what goes on in UDICE Plus is that you have like a sheet that goes on, like the questionnaire that we call essentially in NSSO kind of format. So they have a draft kind of a thing, DCF. So data capture format. So they open their portals for every school all across India, and they're kind of doing a student census kind of thing. And they're trying to capture like the student data and calculate whether how many students are dropping out after secondary, how many schools have facilities like playground, like pakka wall, how many classroom pupil teacher ratio. So I'm like basically making tables to show like, you know, like a unified way of showing ki, you know, for this state these are the important parameters that has to be illustrated, and then again I'm using some coding skills and all to get to that data format and get it out. So this
Okay.
is the primary work that I've been allotted,
And you're enjoying
but
it?
it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Do
Like
they
working
pay
with
you,
3
or
crore observations.
is it free?
It's paid. It's paid.
It's paid.
They pay me 10,000. Yeah.
Wow. And then you're studying too
Yeah.
and taking
And
the
it's a ministry internship. Yeah. So it's
so
a bonus.
but you know, it's hard work, but you are also going to take final exams, right?
Yeah, I am. But my boss is very understanding. He only told me, like, you know, take some, like, you know, he's like, as long as you do the stipulated work that we have given you in the 2 months' time, even if you can finish it in 1 month, it's, you know, it's completely fine. But because it's your final year and your final sem, we are not going to bother you with much work. So that way, I have got a very understanding team. So
Okay.
that is
Well,
very important.
okay. And but you will finish sometime soon. And what will you do after that? You
So
work.
I have received a job from Ashoka University. I'll be a
Okay.
teaching fellow.
Ah,
I'll be teaching statistics and econometrics as a teaching fellow to some professor. I've not been assigned yet. So it will be for 8 months, starting September to April 2024. And by that time, I want to finish my applications for PhD and then see if things
okay.
work
All
out
right.
because, yeah.
Yeah, good. So uh, uh, just to go back to mathematics, in the end, did you become very good at it?
I topped my university. I scored 99 in my graduation. That was the highest I've ever gotten.
So
So it was like, yeah.
why did you miss that 1%?
So the university does not give marks. They don't give full scores. So that is a norm. So they don't. So this is the maximum I could get. So that was it. So
Okay.
I was like, life comes to a full circle. From someone telling you can't do math to scoring 99 in graduation, I pretty much
Okay.
gotten it all.
Okay.
But it's not just driven by that thing. It's also because I started liking the subject. And
Okay.
if you don't like what you're doing, it gets very tough.
Okay, fine. I'm so glad to hear the optimism, exuberance, and happiness in your voice with your own decisions and family support, and
Yes,
that you
sir.
are enjoying the diversity of JNU because it's an
Yes.
all India institution. You know, what you get in a local institution, no matter how good, is not the same as you get in an all India institution. Because really, your dad is right. You get to meet people from all over India, right? That's bound to happen. And with all backgrounds and all income levels, it's not your comfortable, happy life. It's a life in which you know India really, okay, as a different person. Of course, they are not poor, because if they're really poor, they probably aren't going to make it to JNU, because then they don't even get the education. But some of them are.
Yeah.
They do make
Some
it.
of them come before, like, you know, some of them are seen like they're like when you give the application and all. So there are a lot of people who come from BPL categories.
Yes.
So there are people who actually come from BPL and who are first generation learners, even in my class. So it's difficult for them, like because I think also it's because economics is primarily something that you can't teach people in, like, you know, mother tongue and regional languages.
Mhm.
All the books that have been written, like you can't translate Adam Smith into Hindi.
No,
You can't.
no.
So economics is anyway a very, like, you know, I don't want to say, but it's some sort of an elitist subject. Only if you have that control over the languages, the kind of brain that requires to do proper maths and stats, only then you'll be able to master some, like, I'm not saying entirely, because this stuck loads you can learn, like, but that is the pretty much the basic requirement you need to start, like a head start in eco. So someone is coming and doing, they also feel underconfident, like my English is not good. But I think our professors are also very kind. They're like, you take your time. Like, there are some people who, like, get very anxious while presenting.
Okay, no, now
Like,
there's
they're like,
always this, there are many people who say, oh, JNU, it's all political, they are all anti-national, and that they are really not star students. But what is your experience?
I'll just tell them to go and see the number of bureaucrats and the ministers that JMU have produced in the past, and they are still producing now. I think it's all for them to see. It's in the public platform. I don't have to say anything
Isn't the
else.
finance minister from JNU?
She is.
And the foreign
And then
minister?
if she comes and say, he's also from JNU.
Right.
We have top bureaucrats sitting, like,
Yeah.
all of them who have done, like, the masters, PhD, MPhil from JNU. And I think, like, it's not anti-national. I'll say something like, I've been here for more than 1 year because the semester started late. I've been staying on campus for 1 year. I don't think anyone has been forced to, like, there's no forcible participation in politics. You come, you enroll yourself. If you feel like, your ideology inclines with some sort of a party, it's totally you who will go and enroll yourself. Nobody's coming you and telling ki abhi aao, party join karo, ye karo, wo karo. And I think it's not all bad. Like, I mean, there are issues going on, like, I don't want to get too political, but
Okay.
there are certain issues that needs to be addressed. And if you silence the students, that is a bit problematic. I mean, they are not making, like, extreme demands. They are just raising their voice. They are saying that this is not correct. And if that creates, like, that is something that you view as anti-national, then I think you just need to brush up on what you feel is national and patriotic.
Okay. All right.
There's this quote written on JNU's wall that I can love my country without loving my government. So
yeah, okay. Yeah. You
so
don't
yes.
Nobody requires you to love your government. Okay. No, this is a
I
democracy.
elect my government. It's
Yeah.
a democracy.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
So yeah.
All right. Any final words?
Yeah. So I would like suggest, like, I would want to ask you, because you have gotten your PhD. What would you advise me as a future aspirant, like, who wants to do PhD abroad? What should I be doing? Because I think you are one of the, top guys to tell. I think
Okay,
people will
fine.
benefit
Let's
from
discuss
that.
that offline, let's discuss that
I
offline.
watched your interview with Sidra.
Yeah.
So she's from IFT. Yeah. So you said, I tell people don't do PhD because it just keeps getting narrower and narrower. But I feel like if you are interested and you genuinely want to make a difference, like, I feel like I want to do PhD. I don't mind investing 5 years of my life in doing that.
Then
but
you're
a lot
fine.
of people, I'm fine, but there are a lot of people who are not. Yeah. So I think I am very interested in the subject.
Okay,
I like what I'm doing.
Yeah, the
It's
thing
not,
is, you already showed your interest in 10th grade. Okay. From what I hear, you made up your mind in 10th grade. And what
I went against everyone and I said, I'm not going to do engineering. I'm going to do eco.
Right. So you're going to do, so no matter what I tell you, you are going to do your PhD. So all I can say is good luck. Okay. You will get good support from your professors and you will get into a good PhD program. You have to take the GRE and you know it better than I do. And, but I tell people that unless you have the kind of mood that you have, it's better to avoid wasting the time. All right. Yeah. But that's it for us now. I think let's end it here. And maybe once you are in some top university, we will come back and talk to you, see how it's going with you. All right. So let's end it here. Let's say bye to the viewers. Bye, everybody. I'll be back again with more young Indians in the future. Till then, bye.